Shalom. When it started off with souls by giving no praise to Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem Kodash, the belongings to the apostle of great most and honors you brothers doing the work of the most high in truth and in sincerity. Yahweh is a true name of whom the world ignorantly calls God, Jehovah or Yahweh. His real name is Yahweh, and his son's true name is Yahweh Shai. And when we pray Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba meaning in, Ha meaning done, Shah meaning name, so Yahweh in the name of Yahweh Shai. This is a quick one. I was just just thinking, what to go through because I had a topic, but it escapes me. But then I was just thinking, in regards to this whole World Cup situation, here it is, they're trying to get on Qatar for whatever, but in the same breath, in the same week, what are they doing? They're celebrating and observing Thanksgiving, right? As I heard the Apostle Ramlab say earlier on, in a video that he did, right? Here it is, they will celebrate Thanksgiving whilst condemning the rest of the world. They're actually, being joyous about the destruction of the children of Israel. Yet they have the nerve to go out and lecture the rest of the world. And let's be real, the other nations are starting to get sick of this, right? The do as I say, not as I do, right? The hypocrisy, right? And each time someone tries to stand up against them, guess what? They get X'd off, right? And the rest of the world is starting to feel that way, right? So we can already see when the scriptures say, for example, in regards to America's allies, right, these shall hate the whore, right? We can see how that over time is gonna, come to play. You look at also the whole situation with Germany, Nord Stream, right, where Russia has come out and accused England, right, in what you call it, in collaboration with the Americans, although that hasn't been necessarily from official channels per se, but in terms of just blaming England, that has, if I remember correctly, been officially from official sources, right? Russian government officials coming out and saying, look, man, yeah, we blame England, we're going to produce the proof, right? And if England wouldn't have done that on their own, it would have done that by way of America. But let's get into it. As Job 20:5, that the triumphing of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment, right? So let me read, because when it kind of starts off a bit midway. It says, knowest thou not this of old, right? Since man was placed upon earth, that the triumphing of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment. Right, basically what that first bit is emphasizing, like, look, it ain't ever been any other way, right? It's always been this way. It's always been that the hypocrisy doesn't last. Why? Because the Lord Yahweh is righteous, right? And he wants righteousness to reign in the world, right? But let's get this as well, right? It's Habakkuk 2:15. But woe unto him, right? Which woe represents destruction, that giveth his neighbor drink, right? Drink represents philosophies, right? That putteth thy bottle to him and makes him drunken also, right? So here it is, America's got all of these wicked philosophies. And what do they want to do? They want the rest of the world to be under these wicked philosophies and vibrations. They want the rest of the world's women to be, sexually degraded, right? They want the men to be weak, right? But here it is, the rest of the world is like, look, the Qataris are, look, man, you can keep your Moism to yourselves. Now that said, I've seen, accounts of these, these sheikhs and whatever getting, doing nasty, freaky shit. Right? When you look into Islam, it's something like they promise like basically 7 male virgins or some nastiness like that, right? So deep, we know that they get down, and we know them, them Ishmaelites are are freaky deaky anyway, right? But in terms of the wider society, right, and what they speak and want to be pushed out loud, right? They ain't down with that alphabet agenda. They don't want it, right? Because here it is in the West, it ain't just about being an alphabet, it's about being the most, degenerate of alphabet individuals, right? For instance, you had the account of that teacher, right? Who was going into school with those oversized prosthetic breasts, right? Or for instance, brother shared a clip where you had one woman, a dominatrix, right, basically walking an Edomite man, right, in silver body paint in a bikini, right, with a ball gag in his mouth. And it's like, rah, it's like, is this what's going on in this world, right? And is this, the older brother in the status asked the question, is this what they're trying to export to, this is what they're trying to export to Qatar? And that's it, right? Those are those philosophies, right? So it says, that puttest thou bottle to him and makes him drunk, and also that thou mayst look on their nakedness, right? Thou art filled with shameful glory, drink thou also, lest thy, and let thy foreskin be uncovered, right? So the nasty underbelly of this devil is being uncovered, right? His hypocrisy is being put into the spotlight more and more, right? Same when once again with this whole football situation, right? Which ultimately it's all a big distraction, right? But with this whole football situation, you had the account with the president of FIFA basically saying, "Look, how can we lecture, these guys, right? Whereas here in Europe, we've been doing madness for the last however long." He said we should be apologizing for the next 3,000 years, right? Well, Esau, right? You gonna be apologizing for the next 1,000 years, right? When the Lord gives you into our hands, put you into captivity. So it says, the cup of the Lord Yahweh's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be on thy glory, right? Because he's, still trying to exert that authority. But once again, each time people keep being like, look, man, what have you done? Same thing happened with the Iranian football manager, right? Iranian national team football manager. He was like, look, man, do you ask the, in regards to the protests, right? They asked him about the protests, and he straight up said, "Look, man, have you do you ask the United States about all of the school shootings that happened there, right?" So that has been a tide shift that is happening in the world, right? So a call Allah ya Bashem ya Shah for that, right? And this is Psalms 58:4. It says their poison, right? Once again, representing their philosophies, is like the poison of a serpent. They are like the deaf adder that stoppeth her ear, right? So, this man, what they, in fact, let me read it. Let me read the verse up, right? So the wicked are estranged from the womb, right? They go astray as soon as they be born speaking lies, right? So this man, is a liar. Where you read, what is it? John 8:44, where Yahweh Shah was speaking to the Israelites, right? But what was Yahweh Shah doing? He was likening them to these devils. And one of the things that Yahweh Shah said was, you forgers of lies, right? No, not forgers of lies. He said, I'm gonna have to get it. Where is it? Is it here? I'm gonna have to type it. Slack you one sec. John 8:44 says, "Ye are of your father the devil, and the lust of your father you will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in truth, because there is no truth in him." Right? So this devil, whenever this devil speaks, he ain't speaking the truth, because he doesn't know truth. That's not in his spirit. Right? So when he speaketh the lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it. Right? So nothing that this man says or does is real. Because once again, with the whole thing in Qatar, the whole thing in Iran, the whole thing, between Russia, Ukraine, right? What's happening in China, this, that, and the other. We don't know if any of it is true, right? We know that that there are reactions to those situations, right? Because we understand this man operates, as the apostles brought out, via Hegelian dialectics, right? Pressure from above, pressure from below, right? Problem, reaction, solution, right? So we understand that he's doing a reaction for it, but with this man, all we know, he's creating the problems, right? And he's, because proof of that is why certain things get media attention and others don't, right? Let's close some of these that we've read. So we've read that now, right? But this is it as well, right? Because these heathen nations now, they're looking more and more to cut ties, not cut ties per se. Let me not phrase it like that. But they're more and more coming out and speaking up against this devil, right? This is Isaiah 14:4 from 4, and I'll probably jump down instead of reading all of it. Right, so that thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how hath the oppressor ceased? The golden city ceased, right? And that, that golden city, that's, representative of America, right? And America's being, cut down, but the Lord is really going to put this devil down, when the time comes, right? But with thermonuclear destruction on America, right? That place is going to be completely destroyed, right? Actually, I'm just gonna read into it. I'll read it quick. It says, Yahweh hath broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, right? And that's what he's been doing, right? He's been, just going around. If people don't like what he's doing, if Esau doesn't like what people are doing, what does he do? What does he come and do? He comes and he takes it over, right? It's his way or the highway, right? This man is a thug. He liked to call Jake thugs, but he's the thug, right? But that's why the scriptures say, that he shall be transformed into an angel of light, right? Because when and once again, that's what it says on John 8:44, right? Because when you look at how these niggas roll, that's how this devil rolls, right? It says, he who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger, right, is persecuted and none hindereth them. And why will that be? Because these heathen nations have seen all the wickedness that you've done to them, that you've done to primarily to us, to the Israelites, right? And just how much of an asshole you are, right? So the whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing. Yea, the fir tree rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon saying, since thou art laid down, no fellows come up against us. Right? Hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. It stirreth up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth that hath raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations. Right? And they shall say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? Right? So these lesser nations, they're gonna start. They're gonna really look down on these devils, man. Especially when this devil has been destroyed, right? When he's been taken out of his seat of rulership, these nations are really gonna be kicking your ass, right? And that's what it says up there in what you call it, in verse 6, that none hindereth. Right? When the Israelites are giving you Edomites your ass whooping in the kingdom, these nations ain't gonna hinder. Why? Because you've been going around, in this world, in your world, telling them what to do, forcing them to take in customs and traditions that they don't want. Yet, you're being a hypocrite in the moment because you've done all of those things, right? And then here, to the main point, right? Because ultimately, all of these things happened to Israel, right? And you haven't paid for it, Esau. In fact, you've gone one worse. You've celebrated it, right? You've celebrated the destruction and decimation of the children of Israel, right? And one thing I always, kind of think about is like, what if, you had a happy Holocaust day, right? Bro, these motherfuckers would kill you, right? You'll be the worst thing ever. Yet every single year, what do you have? You have a Thanksgiving Day, or more accurately, Thanksgiving Day. It says, Egypt shall be a desolation, and Edom, Joel 3:19, Egypt shall be a desolation, and Edom shall be a desolate wilderness, for the violence against the children of Judah, because they have shed innocent blood in their land, right? I remember when we used to be out there in Oxford Circus, people would ask, "Oh, why are you saying America's got to be destroyed? Why is America going to be destroyed? Right? Why is the Edomite structure going to be destroyed?" When you read the scriptures several times, it flat out says why. Right? And this is another example because they have shed innocent blood in their land. Right? Says, but yeah, and that's it, man. Right? You're gonna be judged for that. Your place is gonna be destroyed because of the fact that you touched the apple of the Lord's eye. It's Habakkuk 2:12. Woe to him that buildeth the town with blood and establisheth the city by iniquity. And how did you get America? You got America by way of blood, by way of killing, right? And that hasn't been recompensed. And once again, what much worse is you celebrate it, right? You celebrate it whilst telling the rest of the heathens, "Oh no, you can't do that," right? And the heathens are like, "Look, they're like, shut the hell up, right? How did you build your empire, right?" It says, yeah, what that's it, right? How was America founded? Right? And the last one says, Numbers 35:33. So ye shall not pollute the land wherein ye are, for blood it defileth the land. And the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein, but by the blood of him that shed it. And that's plain and to the point, right? Because you are your forefathers, right? Isaiah 14:21. Prepare slaughter for the fathers prepare slaughter for the children for the iniquity of their fathers. Right? You are your forefathers, right? Coming back. And all that blood that you shed, you've got to pay for it because you haven't, right? And the hypocrisy that you show, right, by getting on all of these different heathen nations, right, as if to say you've turned a leaf, you're a good Edomite now, right? Well, you know as was said before, right? The only I was trying to remember who said it, whether it was but it was one of our teachers before the apostles, right? Said this statement, right? The only good Edomite is a dead Edomite, right? And just to close on that, Jeremiah 13:23. Can the Ethiopian change his skin or the leopard his spots? Then may you also do good that are accustomed to do evil. And the answer is you can't do right. The apostles say you can't do right because it's not in your nature to do right, right? To lie, to be deceitful, right? To once again, this whole human rights for one love armband, all of that crap. That's deceitful, man. Right? That's wine. That's your philosophies. You're trying to make these heathen nations drunk with your ways, and they ain't having it no more. And they're calling out your wickedness, right? And in the same breath, you're not even hiding your wickedness. You're celebrating it. As always, Lord's will that was edifying. Till next time we say Shalom.